2020, win or lose, I will win the election.
It's a constantly updating show depending on what happens. We'll swap out jokes, we'll potentially swap out scenes. Since we started writing the show, Trump has gotten impeached. Beto O'Rourke has dropped out. The Democratic race, Elizabeth Warren has risen, and it's really kind of reshuffled. So we're going to have to keep doing that right up until air date. Most of the show is kind of already completed by the time it gets to air date, but the cold opens, we animate that week. We'll kind of brainstorm on Monday, keep an eye on the news. We'll write it on Tuesday. We'll voiceover, the voiceover records on Wednesday. Thursday, animated delivery by Friday morning. Luckily, because of our animation style and our technology, we have this amazing animation staff headed up by Tim Lukey. We can drop jokes in as late as Friday morning, and it's going up online that afternoon. So I think based on the fact that this season's going to air over primary races and caucuses that are happening right on top of episodes, there'll be a lot of crunching that timeline.
They're gonna steal the election by getting more people to vote for their side than mine.
Animation is largely done to the radio play. So we will have a full radio play before we start dropping storyboards on top of it and creating the animatic. And that thing that you think is the perfect joke on the page is just lands with a thud when it's in voiceover. Maybe it's too wordy. And there's things that you were just throwaways that are hilarious because of the performer just brings so much to it. There's traditional drawn animation, which is kind of like Simpsons and Family Guy. And then there's, I would say is mostly done with Adobe animation, which is kind of a form of two-dimensional puppetry. So we can get ahead of a lot of things. We create characters ahead of time. If we know they're gonna have lines, we'll rig their mouth movements, we'll rig their body movements. Our animators will actually watch video of the characters speaking to get their mouth movements and little eccentricities exactly right. Pelosi moves her mouth different than Trump does. And they will draw right over trace the live action footage. Same with gestures. They try to pick out certain gestures that politicians resort to.
Is there a single detail or character tick animation-wise that you're fond of? Is there one that really makes you laugh?
Right now, I think heading into season 3, Joe Biden just talking too loud has been really fun. Jeff Bergman, who plays Trump, is the same guy who plays Joe Biden this season. And we've gotten this thing where he's been saying his feelings out loud. I'm upset. Things like that, which just felt Biden-y to us. So, he's been a really fun one to write for if he does end up being president. I think we won't have to adjust our cartoon president nomenclature.
We shouldn't bet on a guy who's mistaken me for Hillary Clinton and his wife.
Hillary, let's talk about this at home.
What is the general workflow for any given episode?
Yeah, it's very intensive. If you look at our workflow, you need an engineering degree to make animation. It's just very regimented, and every single day is accounted for. So it's, it begins with the brainstorming the season arcs, and you get into the writing, voiceover and casting. Then you get into radio plays, animatics, and then we're in animation. Then post-production, but at every single step it gets harder and harder to change things. So you do as much as you can to there's a ton of prognosticating on our show. Where's the race going to be at this point for this episode, and hopefully you get it right. Our writing staff is very engaged in the news, and I think we try to find people who are good at sorting through that sort of information. What is noise? What is not? A joke doesn't work if it's based on a lie. We want to take real things and exaggerate them. We got to do our research. Like I said, we're checking polls all the time in certain states, and also trying to get a real sense of where are we at in the evolution of Trump. I think when Trump was running for president, it was inherently funnier, and I think as he's stepped into the presidency and done some real harm to the country, it's got the characterization of Trump has had to adjust with it. We've had to be, I would think, certainly just more careful and think harder about what kind of jokes we want to make, given all the pain that is out there, and make sure we're not, being too flippant. This is a character that is doing some real damage to this country and to a lot of people individually, and you have to be very careful with how you joke about that. We believe that we do have to joke about it. We don't want Trump to like put an end to comedy, you know. We feel like it's important that we go out there and help people through this, through what we do. Like, we do ask ourselves, okay, if you are an undocumented immigrant, are you okay with this joke? Is this okay? Or is this, therapeutic in some way and nice to hear? It'll be a sweet relief when Trump is no longer in office and Don Jr. is running for president, which is, is coming.
The economy, impeachment, my presidency. It's all going so well, it's freaking me out.
Really?
I'm not lying.
Psycho.
I heard that.
Could you have imagined this show being born out of the Clinton presidency? Could this only have happened because of Trump?
That's a great question. No, I think, oh my God, I mean, Bill Clinton is just a wonderful character. And Hillary, Bill, and Chelsea are all making pretty heavy appearances this season. When Clinton was going through impeachment, I mean, it was just as shocking and incredible. Obviously, like our norms or our threshold for what is shocking has certainly adjusted, but I mean, that's a thing about like this show. A lot of people say like, well, obviously you're going away when Trump goes away. I don't think so. There is always going to be ludicrous, hypocritical behavior in Washington. The thing we always talk about in the room, which is like, what reality are we living in with Jeffrey Epstein and the president's relationship with Ukraine and Russia. We kind of every once in a while wonder, like, is there ever going to be some form of justice for all this? Do we live in that world, or do we live in the world where they are just going to get away with this? It's a super surreal time that I think only someone as corrupt as the president could really force the boundaries of kind of what is acceptable behavior for us as a society. I mean, we talk about in the cartoon, Trump will say, this reality is just not working for me. I'm going to have to go with a new reality. I'm sorry. And just deny whatever you see in front of your face is taking place. We really hope we live in a world where of justice, but it remains to be seen. And I mean, ironically enough, we try to keep this cartoon as grounded as possible in reality and make fun of those who are trying to make it otherwise.
Welcome to the impeachment trial of Donald Trump.
The president is a threat to democracy itself, not guilty.
It was a perfect, beautiful call with Ukraine that had legs for days. I'd be dating that call if I wasn't already happily married to what's-her-name.
This is going to be a great year.